Cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as related to behavioral decisions and attitude change.
The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitude, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. Okay, so guys, every single one of you has this about something. Okay, every single one of us has this about something. We just need somebody to point them out to us. Okay, but let's see how we have and again, all of you in the live chat except me. Okay, every single one of you in the every non-vegan right now in the live chat has this on veganism. I'm not a vegan. I'm the only non-vegan that doesn't have cognitive dissonance. Okay, I'll prove it to you.
If you hold two beliefs that contradict each other, you're suffering from CD. If you hold a belief that something is wrong and yet justify doing it, or something just like it, despite simultaneously knowing that you shouldn't, you're suffering from CD. If you think that it's, I don't know, wrong for any person under any circumstance to so much as hit a dog that they're looking after, and yet simultaneously justify literally gassing pigs to death in a chamber of carbon dioxide so that you can eat a sandwich that you won't remember eating, you're suffering from CD. In all my 4 years or so of professionally tackling religious fanatics in the public sphere, I have genuinely never encountered more dogma, more ignorance, more evil, and indeed more cognitive dissonance than I have coming from people who, despite knowing the unimaginable horrors necessary to produce it, just can't give up cheese or just can't give up bacon. Well, if that's you,
Yeah, so I hear this all the time. I hear oh yes, I know animals are suffering and it's bad. Oh yes, 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 yes. But bacon. Oh, I love cheese. How could I give up cheese? Okay. So would you give up? Would you say this about? I mean, it's so obvious. Do I even need to say this? I mean, the same people. If you bring this argument for them over anything else, they would be like, "Oh my God, this is horrific." Imagine if you said, if I said "Oh yeah, I own 100 slaves and stuff like that, right? I own 100 slaves." They're like, "You own slaves, Armin?" Yeah, yeah, I own slaves. And what the hell, Armin? Slavery is disgusting. How could you have slaves? And I'm like, yeah, I know slavery is bad and all, but if I didn't have slaves, then I would have to do my own laundry or pay somebody to do it, and then I would have to go buy food or pay somebody to do it. And I don't know, I could afford actually hiring maids, and they could quit. Yeah, I know it's bad. I know it's bad, guys. I know, but it's inconvenient. I just prefer having. It's hard to live without slaves. So
someone who sees veganism as some kind of fringe woke phenomenon or as just a funny and mockable philosophical position to be treated as nothing more than a laughingstock for when you get bored, it's time to snap out of it. Okay, we can either have a grown-up conversation about this or not.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating to vegans that people have philosophical discussions about the morality of almost everything. Oh, should we vote for Biden even if we disagree with him? Oh, let's have a philosophical discussion about this. Oh, should we go to war here, or is this preemptively? How many people are going to be hurt? How many? Let's do a cost benefit analysis. Everything, every moral thing. Is religion? If God is fake, should people believe in God? Should we maybe religion is helpful to some people, or is it always harmful? Oh, let's have a serious philosophical discussion about this. It's important. Let's see how much misery this causes, or how much benefit is. Yeah. Okay, what about veganism? Bacon. What? Guys, let's also have a serious philosophical discussion about whether animal suffering is important. No, bacon. Yeah. So it must be extremely. I can see how annoying it is to vegans, where this is the level of discourse that people are having in response to them.
But if you're unwilling, forgive me for not taking you ethically seriously. Okay, you can giggle all you like about bacon, though, as if it's still 2009, but while you do, consider that since this video began, 174,869 chickens, 4,150 pigs, 9 donkeys, 14 horses, and 2,772,879 wild fish have all been slaughtered, so that people like you can satiate your addiction to the taste of their flesh and continue to point your greased-up finger at the vegans for being too extreme. For the rest of us, however, who are genuinely willing to take up the mantle of personal responsibility and follow our most deeply held ethical principles without exceptions for the sake of a sausage roll, I want to highlight some of the most obvious abuses of moral logic that I've seen on the topic of animal abuse and show you why it's just so insidious. Right, now, you may be someone who has simply never considered this stuff before, and if that's so, don't feel bad. My anger isn't directed at you, okay? It's not your fault that we live in a society that's normalized animal cruelty to such an extent that we don't even notice it happening all around us. It's really not your fault. But allow me to
Actually, I would go more extreme than Alex here. It is your fault somewhat for not informing yourself. I mean, the information is available out there. Maybe, maybe you're not... I'm not gonna like condemn you like that much, but I mean, I don't know. Do we say that about other? I don't know. I think like there's some like there. Okay, so fine. You're not like evil or anything, but there's some blame, a little bit, a tiny bit of blame to go around. I don't know.
clue you in, and hopefully that can change. And animal cruelty is truly every.
Afshin is saying I could live with the slaughter if they had lived a good life and slaughtered truly painlessly as possible without the animals knowing death is coming. Well, Afshin, if that's how they were gonna do it, every single burger would cost like $1,000 or something. Yeah, that would not be possible on the scale that meat would not be available to this scale. If that was what they were doing with every single chicken and beef or whatever. Oh, Luke has been dreading this live stream. Okay, let's continue.
Everywhere. Right? It's a strange and regrettable irony that when I complain about dead animals being present in food and on billboards and in people's shoes, in chairs that I'm forced to sit on, in guitar straps and phone cases and bags and wallets and roads and cosmetics and the only legal physical currency of the United Kingdom, that I'm the one who's forcing other people to encounter an observation that they don't like. Right? I find it funny if it wasn't so sad, especially given just how willing those same people who levy this accusation against me, just how willing they are to be as pushy and loud and forceful and unapologetic as they like when talking about an ethical issue that they agree with. Like,
yeah, so this is also another thing that I can understand how frustrating it is. Imagine if you were living when slavery was like, imagine if you were an abolitionist during slavery and you were going around and saying that slavery needs to be abolished, slavery needs to be abolished, guys. This is like this is not good. And people are like, hey, listen. If you don't want to have slaves, just don't have slaves. Leave the rest of us who want to have slaves alone, okay? Don't be pushy. Don't be so pushy with your anti-slavery, okay? Stop preaching. Stop being so... guys, you know how as anti-slavery abolitionists, how you recognize... how do you recognize if somebody is an abolitionist? Oh, you don't have to worry about it. They will tell you about it. Okay? If there are these people who are against slavery, oh my God, every time you talk about them, they just come like, oh yeah, slavery is bad, oh my God, come on, just keep your... I like the people who are against slavery, who just don't have slaves themselves, and just leave the rest of us alone, okay? The ones that just leave the rest of us alone, they're not so pushy. They're just personal choices. They're like, oh look, I'm a good kind of anti-slavery person. I don't push my values on other people. I just feel like it's a personal choice for me not to own slaves, but it's okay for other people to have slaves. I just think this is a morally good position for me. Like, look at me, I'm the good anti-slavery kind of person, right? If you want to have slaves, I'm not going to be mean to you. You have slaves. I just made this personal decision for me not to have slaves myself. You see how this doesn't work? You see how this doesn't work? Look at this. Equating human rights to animal rights and unbelievable. Yeah, what's the difference, Gregory? Why should we care about human rights more than animal rights? They both experience pain and misery, so I don't understand. Okay, maybe you have a good argument. Gregory, tell us exactly why humans matter more than animals. Tim is saying, I grew up in the countryside and am well aware of the suffering of animals for our food. I'm a meat eater, but only buy local with well-treated meat. I find the assumptions of my ignorance annoying. He didn't say that you don't know about, like, obviously he was, wait, who's assuming that you're ignorant? I didn't see him generalizing about everybody watching his video, so I don't know if you assumed that he was talking to you specifically. Guys, your responses are not really good. Okay, Reza is saying, I don't see how you could not be a vegan and not have cognitive dissonance unless you either reject the notion of animals having the capacity to suffer or accept that they suffer but reject it's wrong. Nope, not. I'll get you guys. I'm not a vegan and I don't have cognitive dissonance, and I'll tell you how. It's coming, and it's none of those that you mentioned, Reza. I'll let you guys know soon how. I'm not a vegan and I don't have cognitive dissonance. I'll tell you. Okay, it's coming.
Like trophy hunting.
And maybe you guys could correct me and tell me, no, look, Armin, you're right. I'm pretty sure almost everybody in live chat is going to disagree with me. We'll see.
Or dog.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be so alone on this. This is going to be my position, and it's going to be the right answer. And all of you are going to think it's the wrong answer, including Alex.
Apologetic as they like when talking about an ethical issue that they agree with, like trophy hunting or dog abuse or bullfighting. And that's what I'm hoping to demonstrate to you in this video, that when it comes to animal cruelty, cognitive dissonance is the norm, not the exception. I had the idea for this video when one day I was scrolling through Facebook and came across a post by a page called Lad Bible. Now, they're one of the biggest social media pages on the platform with around 37 million likes, and you'll almost certainly have heard of them, especially if you're in the UK. They're a huge page, basically, that shares a variety of different kinds of content, and the post that I saw was one about animal cruelty. Now, I started taking screenshots every time I saw a popular post about animal cruelty, and noticed that the general reactions and the comment sections seemed to vary massively depending on which species of animal happened to be the victim. Okay, here's a first example. Swan dies of broken heart after yobs destroy nest and kill unborn cygnets. And Lad Bible captions, the heartless teenagers smashed her unhatched eggs with bricks and rocks.
Oh my god, look at this. Look, she looks so sad. This was her egg, and the teenagers broke her egg. And she's like heartbroken. Wait, how do you know she's heartbroken? Sobs? Can you actually see a swan? Can swans actually sob? Heartbroken. Oh no, heartbroken. It didn't say sob.
Unhatched eggs with bricks and rocks.
Oh, I heard sob for some reason. It didn't say that. How do you... Yeah.
Obviously, this is horrible, right? Who would destroy the eggs of an animal, killing its younglings for no good reason? And the comments agree with me. 96,000 reactions, mostly angry. And the comments, if these words are harsh, I don't care. I hope that someday these teens struggle to have families and think of their actions. Hope they find the little shits responsible for this and throw bricks at their faces. And check it out, this guy on Twitter thinks that we should bring back public hangings for the kids who destroyed these eggs. Okay, understandable outrage, perhaps.
Not that public hangings. I wouldn't call that understandable, but okay.
But now, here's a fact. That is not an opinion or a hot take, but simply a true fact. Every year, around 7 billion male chicks are killed immediately at birth by the egg industry, either by...
Oh, guys, sensitive footage coming in. Trigger alert, trigger alert, trigger alert in the live, okay, sensitive footage coming up, okay?
gassing them, or grinding them up alive
Ooh,
in an industrial...
ah! Holy crap. How, guy, you know, when I see this, I wonder how fast does the brain hit the machine before they actually feel pain? They need to go head first so that they don't feel the pain, because I don't want them to feel like a fraction of a second of pain. Look at this. They're just like they're so cute and fluffy, and look what this machine does to them. Oh my god, look at this.
them up alive in an industrial macerator. Egg-laying hens are genetically engineered differently to the chickens used for...
God damn it, like seriously, they need to go head first. Like they need to go head first so they don't feel any pain. Look, how could you look at them so fluffy and so cute, and they just like treated. Oh my goodness, like seriously, they need to go there needs to be a rule that they need to be fallen into this machine head first, so they don't actually feel the pain. I don't know, man. This is kind of this way of killing. This needs to be illegal. You guys are saying that's disgusting. That is sad. Yeah, but you guys know that every single time you're eating, like, I don't know, chicken burger or something, it's basically it's fueled with pain. Your meat that you're eating is fueled with pain. Anyways, they're being killed because they're male and don't produce eggs.
Or grinding them up alive in an industrial macerator. Egg-laying hens are genetically engineered differently.
Guys, imagine if you saw this scene and there were humans being thrown into something like this and be turned into like a grind meat. Like as much as you're disgusted in the live chat right now, imagine if you were seeing this and this was a real footage of humans being like pushed into something like this, and in like a factory farm or something. I bet you guys, a lot of you in the live chat would lose sleep for a week, or maybe forever. I don't know. But if it was real footage of humans being thrown into this, right? God damn
Differently to the chicken.
Luke is saying this happens to every male chick born to an egg-producing mother. Oh yeah, Fatima. Imagine if those were babies. Yeah, human babies. Oh my god. Yeah, actually, that's a better example, Fatima. Imagine if this was a footage of real human babies. Gregory is saying, well, chickens aren't people, so this is a straw man. Gregory, you're a moron. The whole point, I know they're not people. That's the entire point. The entire point is to highlight the difference in feeling, that we're comparing two different things. That's the entire point, Gregory. God damn it. No one is saying, yes, I know it is, and I feel guilty for eating meat. It doesn't take away from the fact that I find it disgusting. I didn't know they were treated like that. Oh, you didn't know? Oh yeah, like in the Pink Floyd video. Yeah, that's what I was picturing when I first saw it. Really? Okay. Let's continue. Imagine if they were puppies. Oh yeah, okay, that's actually a good example, Reza. Imagine if they were puppies. Yeah, yeah. So for Gregory, okay, you think like humans don't deserve the same amount of pain and sympathy? What about puppies, right? If they were like cute puppies that were being like thrown into the like a meat grinder or something like that, I bet you the outrage over this would be like, oh, if imagine if the video was leaked of puppies being pushed into a meat grinder like this. Holy crap, the internet would explode with outrage. So what's the difference between these cute little chicks and puppies?
Chickens used for meat, and so male layer chickens are totally useless since males don't lay eggs. This means that their first and last experience of this world is being crushed or gassed to death, and this chick culling occurs in...
I wouldn't have an issue with this if they weren't feeling any pain, because like if there was like a machine that would just like, I don't know, would painlessly like make them like go to sleep before they were grinded, because, I mean, they wouldn't have any experience of life at all um, without the meat industry. So if their only experience in life was like, hey, I was born and now I don't feel anything because I'm dead, but I didn't experience any pain at all, I would be like, yeah, that's fine. But that doesn't seem, that's not the world we live in.
All industrialized egg production, including free-range and organic eggs.
Wait. So guys, people in the people in the live chat that were talking about, oh, I only eat free range or whatever. So he's telling you something about free range.
Experience of this world is being crushed or gassed to death, and this chick culling occurs in all industrialized egg production, including free-range and organic eggs.
What Shubhis is saying, in India they drown or throw them in fire, and it takes them 15 minutes to drown and die. Are you goddamn serious? Are you serious? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Holy crap. Gregory is saying, yes, morally speaking, there is little difference between chicks and puppies, though humans evolved in the Ice Age with dogs, so probably contributes to European people's love of dogs. Gregory, the entire point is that our biological sense of sympathy does not make logical sense when it comes to reducing the highest amount of misery. Okay, so if you want to rely on our evolutionary, like what we're built in as humans when it comes to the sense of sympathy that we have, to just rely on that based on coming up with moral standards, even if you focus only on humans, relying on what nature has gifted us is not going to be enough. Okay, because biologically, for example, if you want to just rely on that, so biologically we're hardwired to feel more sympathy for other human beings more than animals. Okay, so we just care about humans more than other animals, so that's just how it is, right? But if you are actually a utilitarian and you just care about misery, you know that that's not enough. For example, biologically, the way our sense of sympathy works, you're going to care more about one child starving in front of you. All right, you're gonna want to stop that more than a million children dying from starvation in another continent. Okay, so you could see, like, if you could do, given that given how flawed our sense of sympathy is, this is why when we come up with ethical standards, or we come up with a moral philosophy, we know that our sense of sympathy is the fuel that drives us to even come up with these standards, but the fuel is not enough to come up with consistent standards that actually reduces misery for the highest number of conscious beings, right? We know that we need to go beyond our personal desires, beyond satisfying our sense of sympathy. We need to come up with more consistent standards that is not, contradictory, and that makes actually logical sense, right? That's the whole point of philosophical discussions on morality. So you can't be like, evolutionary, we were built to do this, and that's why that's good enough, or this is why we don't need to care about this or that, right? This is the difference between people getting morally outraged over hearing the news of some guy killing their daughter with a shovel, but by hitting the daughter in the head with a shovel, we would be like, oh my god, that's an outrage. But then if a whole city, if civilians in Yemen are being bombed by a plane from sky, we would be like, yeah, okay, that's war, I guess, right? Like, they get outraged. We get outraged over that as well, even though like there's like thousands of people dying. But for some reason, when the interaction between the criminal and the victim is more direct and more personal, with a father like killing their own daughter with a shovel, we get morally outraged with that a lot more. Again, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it does make sense evolutionary, but it doesn't make any sense for us to rely just on those feelings if we want to actually reduce misery. We should, that's why when it comes to coming up with standards, we need to understand that thousands of people dying in an indirect way from, like, carpet bombing or something like that, that should take higher priority in us avoiding.